In the room, do we have any questions? Yes. Okay, I'm just going to come over with the microphone, just so we make sure the question gets to our audience online.
To follow up on the ChatGPT thing, should we even be concerned about whether it's a machine we're asking the question or a human? Because don't we see in the long run that's kind of equitable, that we will have machines and human working together?
Sorry, this one microphone thing is problematic.
Yeah. In other places we've had throwable microphones.
Yeah.
Just saying, I
Like
throw the cube around. I mean, I actually kind of agree, right? Like, honestly, I treat every issue the same, and even the bad ones, I try and help people. Like, even the ones where people they're just out for help vampiring, I try and help them anyway. Although sometimes I give up, right? So I guess like what I would say is that in general, assuming it doesn't add too much load, I think people will probably just treat them the same. But I do think that there are concerns about spam are legit, right? Like, there's only so many hours in the day, and this is why Hacktober got the bad reputation that it did, and we still see this kind of gamification of like, I mean, we've had big discussions even before ChatGPT. We had really big discussions about like, are we going to merge typo fixes? Because there's people who will go and run a grammar checker across your markdown documents and send you a PR, and I think I'm in the like, well, it is a fix, right? So we should take it. Like, I think I'm in that camp, but I also do understand that there is this gamification where people get rewarded based on how many commits did you merge, or how many, like, and it's not really looking at the quality of the commits. And I don't necessarily want to support that part of the industry. It's a complicated question, I think, even beyond ChatGPT.
Sorry, Jake, sounds like you may have comments.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think in any system that we have, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it goes back probably as long as we're humans. There's always somebody who's trying to game the system and one up somebody. But I think this comes into the concept of community. And in some sense, it's made harder by remote work, but we still have the ability to like see each other on these screens. We get to work with each other and sort of chat with each other through different media interfaces that we have, be it like BBSs or Slack or whatever those things are. And I feel like in the long run, it's hard to game the real relationships that we have with each other. And I think this is maybe like it might be one of those interesting pushbacks. Like, I have an 8-year-old kid, and like, it's highly likely that the way that she interacts with folks is going to be slightly different than the way the teenagers or young adults are doing today, just because they want to stand out and do something slightly differently. But I still think that those bonds that I see her forming and that I'm still forming with folks that are there are collaborative in nature in some way, that even if you're trying to game the system, you can kind of tell usually if somebody's gaming the system, because what it is that they're outputting is, yeah, sure, it's typo fixes or something along those lines. And sure, those contributions are great, but if it's 1,000 typo fixes and that's all the interactions that you have with somebody, then that's what you're not going to be like, oh, well, go to Kitsune over here, and because she's the master typo fixer or something like that. I still think that the collaboration, that the ability to work with folks in some kind, be it virtual or in person, that's what builds those bonds. That's what builds the strength of these communities. And I think that's going to be true going on, even if ChatGPT is out there acting like somebody else, unless it's like constantly, unless you just have like deep fake Jake out there, like contributing to this thing. And then, hey, guess what? If those contributions are worthwhile, then it doesn't really matter. I guess if it produces value, maybe that's okay. I don't know.
So you almost get the point where somebody raises a pull request with typo fixes, and then you just put a comment on there, and then if they don't bother commenting back, then it's a spam job, and you just close it. Whereas if they coming back and say, oh yes, I'm actually a copy editor, I've had a lot of fun doing this, blah blah blah, you've got that relationship, got that collaboration that you talked about. But yeah, when they just submit it and then they go away, then we don't care. We don't want to deal with that. Maybe not don't care, but we don't want to deal with it. Yeah.